Types of sports with Schoode and Tor. Football discussion on the internet.
Oh, yes. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Doug Houston, it would be better if you just put in the chat, I don't understand the way the internet works. It's not an intro. It's a countdown so that people can get into the chat. The show starts at 3:15, motherfucker. I appreciate all the support you show, but it's not an intro. The intro is, I'm going to explain this because, Tora, hello. How are you? I like the shockwave hat.
Doing well. Thank you.
Doug Houston, this is the intro. This is the intro that we play. You understand? You're saying our intro is too long?
Both types of sports with...
That's the intro. The Tecmo Bowl thing starts 5 minutes before the show starts so that people can get into the chat. I hope that by sharing this, when somebody else says something like that, there's a chance for education in your edition. That's what I hope there is. Because you might as well type in, I don't know what's going on, but I want to complain anyway. Also, I've had a fucking hell of a week. And here I still am. Hello, Tor. How are you?
It's nice to see you, Schoode.
I wish I could say the same. I don't like admitting you're right. And I have to start the show. And I noticed that if you ever want to tell, like if you ever want to know someone is disinterested, they'll tell you through their actions. And when both types of sports posts on X, usually Tor is somewhere spanking it with a thumb up his ass, which I don't blame him for at all. Live life, young man. I don't think he's ever liked a tweet that both types of sports has ever put up, much less put up a tweet himself, which he's more than welcome to do. But I know that he doesn't want to, so then I don't ask. So I saw bling. I was watching the football games, and I put a tweeter up, and I saw that young Gigantor had liked a tweet on both types of sports, the official Twitter account, both types of sports. See up at the top there. You can follow us if you like. And I was like, what could this possibly be that forced and coerced Tor out of his boycott of supporting this show? And when I checked, I, of course, was rewarded with the fact that basically Tor was liking a take that he had last week on the show.
Well, my boycott may stem from the new fresh profile photo that you can see at both types of sports.
Do you understand, Tor, that we had to wait to be re-verified after we updated the profile picture? We had to wait to be re-verified because...
that's a quarterback that can throw that thing right there.
Tor Lawrence, the new official mascot of both types of sports, is now our profile pic. If someone doesn't mind going through our feed on X and seeing who sent this in, because this was sent in by a listener and it's fantastic. I know you hate/love Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence, but you love Trevor Lawrence, correct?
I mean, that guy looks like he can lead an offense, and he's either going to be permanently inconsistent or permanently consistent, and not just give you the runaround the entire time that he's been the franchise quarterback of your trying to rebuild team.
It's Blues Traveler 4 up in this piece because it's always the runaround from Trev Tor Lawrence. That's what he gives us constantly. So, yes, a brand new fancy sig pick, as the kids used to call it, over on X. Trev Tor would get so much boonda. I'm inclined to agree. All right, I guess we should start Tor with should we start with the Eagles getting blown off the fucking field and deciding that they no longer want to compete in competitive NFL sports? Should we start at Sam Darnold going right down the field in Lambeau, neutering the crowd, exploiting the clumsy double teams of Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, exploding back on? I mean, there's so much to talk about in the NFC right here as far as who came to play and who brought their lunch pail. And should we talk about Anthony Richardson and the fact that you better make plans for the fact that he's never going to be able to stay on the field for a consistent basis? And the quicker the David Marksbury and the rest of the Colts fans out there come to grips with that, the happier you'll be and embrace the wacko for Flacco there, boy. Where should we start? Or should we start the two waterheads humping a doorknob that are the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints, where I tuned that game in and I have to give myself a shot of Narcan because I feel like I've overdosed on depressants. I'm so fucking bored watching that game.
Yeah, one of the Waterheads just had their first offensive touchdown of the game called back for a hold. So that's awesome. New Younghoe Koo coming out again. But I think the biggest story of the afternoon, it's Darnold. And it's Sam Darnold by a mile. What an actual explosion that he put on with that Vikings offense today so far.
I think that Darnold is the best story of the year. And I think that what I said, for those people that didn't watch the show earlier in the week, I don't blame you. But what I said during that episode was Tor was saying, trade JJ McCarthy. We've seen enough. Sam Darnold's the quarterback for this team. Give him a Baker deal. Because Baker's getting paid a big sack of cash, Tor, but he ain't getting paid Dak Prescott cash. Like, he's still getting penalized for the fact that he's Baker Mayfield. And Sam Darnold's going to get penalized for the fact that he's Sam Darnold. But give him a 2 years, $70 million. Trade JJ McCarthy, whose value's got to still be. Think about where Bryce Young's value is, because we know too much. We have too much up here in the egg salad. We don't know anything with JJ McCarthy that isn't, hey man, he looked really good in training camp. I hate saying this. You were a week early on this. I think this is going to be all the rage this week when people are discussing the Vikings, is the theory you had this past week.
And I wouldn't say that trading J.J. McCarthy is J.J. McCarthy's fault at all. You're a rookie, you get hurt. You're not the first rookie quarterback to get hurt. You're a rookie quarterback that got drafted too high for your talents. Not the first time that's happened for him either. And then also, if I'm J.J. McCarthy, I'm thinking maybe I'll learn some stuff from Sam Darnold and then start working my way in. This team might not be that good, but 4-0 crushing in-conference opponents the way that they are, I am maybe now looking at my options and thinking, what team can I salvage if I'm JJ? What team can I go to and now maybe be a hero instead of a guy that is now, if I'm a Vikings fan, forgotten about? Just this is September reactionary, and a lot of things could still happen, but the value for McCarthy is not going to be higher than it is right now. And what I'm seeing from Darnold is just an elevated presence of quarterback play where you're not going to get that in a young quarterback, where you have to develop and teach and learn and go through that puberty and then go through puberty 2, which we see from a lot of quarterbacks in year 3 when they get figured out. And that's where we start separating the wheat from the chaff to who's really elite and who's just a good and great quarterback. And Darnold right now, I don't think teams are going to really be shocked. They can game plan for Darnold if they really want to, but he's dotting. He is confident and poised and putting the ball in places that I didn't think. The pass to Jefferson, that back shoulder pass in the front corner of the end zone today, maybe the best throw he's ever had in his entire life.
Could be. I know that my argument, Tor, against what you said was Kevin O'Connell probably can coach up like a bowl of cold linguine to play quarterback for his offense. But there's a couple of data points here. One is, you don't want to be the Browns. You don't want to have Baker Mayfield and decide that, okay, the grass is greener, we're going to go and do something crazy. No. You got a guy that can play, that has played for your team. That should be taken into context. You also, and this is going to sound crazy, Tor, you don't want to be the 49ers. You don't want to have to Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance and all these different quarterbacks they had to go through to realize that, oh, maybe it is Brock Purdy. Maybe this is the guy that we need to liquor up. The bird in the hand, brother. And I don't know. Like, Aaron Jones might be the comeback player. Not comeback player of the year. He might. I don't know. What do you give him? He's not going to be the MVP because he's a running back, but he was completely overlooked with all these other running backs moving around. He's running the ball. He's on pace for about 130 yards a day and a touchdown. Jordan Addison's probably going to be in the running for comeback player of the year now that he's healthy and back there. And then he's going to be a huge part of this offense. You see the day that he's having today. And they're they're not beating up on the Panthers. And they're not beating up on the Giants. Like, they're beating teams that are good football teams for the most part. I don't know how much longer the sample size is to make you say drastic things, and maybe you don't have to. Maybe you wait till the offseason, see how it shakes out, and readdress. The media and the fan base isn't going to wait that long.
I know a lot of these teams may be different at the end of the year, but 49ers, playoff team. Texans, playoff team. Packers, playoff team, and they beat the Giants in week 1. 3 out of the 4, you have a daunting schedule like that looking down the barrel, and I think a reasonable Vikings fan would say we'll be 1-3, and you're sitting at 4-0. You have to be excited. And this team, the defense is playing really well. I thought that the Dallas Turner pick, I didn't love it. I didn't love a lot what I saw from him out of Alabama. But I mean, he's exciting. The whole defense looks to be flying around. Maybe they're a September team, but seeing the caliber of teams that they're beating in September and how I think overly prepared they are for games, that's a testament to O'Connell and the coaching staff there of getting them up for games against teams that are on paper probably better than them.
If they had 8 hurries on Jordan Love by the time that we started the show. So, I mean, they're getting after him. But, Tor, I was kind of surprised that Jordan Love played today. And maybe if it's not the Vikings coming to town and you're feeling the heat and they're better than you thought, he missed a throw at the end of the first drive, and the kicker comes out and misses a field goal, had a couple of picks in the first half, and he's made plays. If you look at his line, it's not egregious, but Malik Willis they're getting a lot of heat today. He was mobile. He was keeping them steady. Maybe you still lose the football game, but am I nuts to think that Jordan Love coming out and getting run off the fucking field, his first start back against a really good team, maybe now it looks like maybe we should have given the kid one more week to make sure that he was healed up. It just seems like now, retrospect, backseat driving, that might have been the move.
I would have given Malik until a loss. And I know every game matters. It does. But having Jordan Love go back to a very ruthless environment where he may not be truly 100% back. I mean, that was a nasty injury that he took in week 1.
Yeah.
It didn't look good. And I would say 3 weeks later that we're rushing him back against a Vikings team that's hot like this. I don't love it. Let Malik Willis go out there. If you think, maybe they're just confident and they think that they could have really won this game with Jordan Love. But if I'm putting the chips on the table, I'm thinking the Vikings are probably going to roll me regardless at this point in the season with the momentum that they have. I'll let Willis go out there and be the unfortunate cannon fodder for this team, and then we'll get right with Love next week.
Sam Darnold has 25 fantasy points in the third quarter, which is pretty goddamn great. 28-7, and Jordan Addison, of course, with the touchdown, and I believe a touchdown rushing as well. So we'll keep an eye on that one. We do accept super chats on this show since Tor and I are here on game day. I don't want to say you owe us, but you owe us. David Marksbury, thank you for the $5 super chat. Colts showed up to play tax. I'll take it. Thought they would get brutalized by the Steelers. Look, the Steelers are 3-0, but I don't think anyone's having their skirt blown up by the offense. And I got to say, David, if Anthony Richardson was in a quarterback, they probably would be getting brutalized right now. Flacco's they were down when Flacco went in, and now they're up 24-10 over Pittsburgh. Tor, he's just a veteran that guys respond to, and he can push the ball down the field. And I wrote this down as soon as Flacco went in, the Colts started to win. I wrote down Indianapolis is a serious franchise. Miami is not a serious franchise because Indianapolis has taken the backup quarterback position with an injury-prone young quarterback very seriously the past 2 seasons, and Miami continues, starting Brent Hundley this week, to piss down the side of their fucking leg in this matter. That was my first reaction. I thought of the Dolphins when I saw Flacco go in.
Yeah, I had the Steelers as one of my locks this week. I thought they were gonna. I mean, they were favored by 1. It was basically a pick 'em, but I thought the Steelers were going to show up a little more. They've had some weirdness. I mean, George Pickens literally tossing the ball away in their own in the red zone right to the Colts was rough. Justin Fields scrambling around for his life is tough. And I didn't pick the Steelers because of their offensive prowess, but I thought the defense would be able to show up against a pretty one-dimensional Colts team, even with Richardson in the game. They're a run-first team. I don't care about that week 1 deep bomb touchdown anymore. How embarrassed are you all for overreacting to that again, by the way? I know he has a big arm, and I know it was a great pass, and Alec Pierce got behind the defense, but Jesus Christ, he cannot stay in the game. It's disappointing. It's really rough.
Did real people overreact to that, Tor, or was that NFL Twitter overreacting to that? I mean, did everyone just come in their pants and say, he's the next Mike Vick or Randall Cunningham?
I saw a lot of people that I respected being their L's. When that pass happened. And you know what? I get it. It was an exciting pass. I was shocked at the pass. But if you're going to keep running with this guy, and it's a hip injury that he went out of the game with today, that's not great. Yep. I don't love a hip thing. But that if you're getting hit in your hip and you're injuring your hip as a quarterback, that means you're running too much, or that means you're running into traffic and hard-nosed defenders. What is this guy not learning? He's not Superman. No quarterback in this league is Superman. We saw that in 2015, and it's gotten phased out of the game. There's one Superman in the league at a time. You had Cam Newton. You had for a little bit. You had Big Ben, who could just stiff arm any defensive lineman that he saw. Now you got Josh Allen. There can't be 2 of these guys running around at the same time. It just does not work in this league.
I would say last year was McCaffrey. I think Derrick Henry's been that guy at times.
Yeah.
But you're right. That is the argument that people make about Tom Brady got drafted here, so we'll find our quarterback here. It's just a ridiculous fucking argument. Like, it's lightning striking. You're hoping it strikes again. And I'm with you on that. It's like, I'm bigger and badder than all these other guys out here. No, you ain't. And he turned the ball over, by the way, when he got hit. You saw the grimace. And look, I get it. When he runs through the line, you're like, it's like the moment you see Jaws. Like, Jaws emerges, you're like, oh my God, Jaws is as big as the fucking boat, like, it doesn't look right. It looks strange. But like, you're right. And the fact that you go out there, take a look at the line. First of all, Taylor's back in a big way, and that offense should go through him no matter who's behind the quarterback. He's got 62 carries and a touchdown, but Flacco's just, he just goes out there and he distributes the ball and he gets Michael Pittman involved, and they've got weapons on that team. And I don't think it's fucking rocket science when you got a situation like the Colts do, or like Minnesota does, or even like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do. I can't wait to talk about the Eagles. I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Let me just let's get caught up, and then we'll get to. I know you're speaking of BNLs. I know you're BNLs. Doug Houston, not understanding internet text. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I want to also point out that you said in your message where you said our intro is too long, you called it Techno Bowl. You called the game Techno Bowl, so I'm going to need another $2. Also, you put a period in front out of the I, and then you didn't capitalize I. So because of all the support you show, we're going to call this a wash, but understand that it's not the intro. It's just a lead up. Good Lord. Let's see here. Wacko for Flacco text. Knew it was coming, just wondering when. Yeah, I mean, I think you signed that guy because you knew you knew that that's the sound of inevitability. By the way, how did David become a Colts fan? Is there a more bland, vanilla, carnation, instant breakfast fucking organization than the Indianapolis Colts?
If I was going to abandon my team, I would really consider not being a football fan before becoming a Colts fan. Unfortunately, they do nothing. They just do nothing for me.
Nothing.
And you know what? They put out good. Zaire Franklin is a really fun, exciting linebacker, and he's probably one of the most underrated guys in the NFL. Who cares? It's the Colts. He's playing on the Colts, and they were fun with Luck. They were fun with Peyton, but they've been so boring since that I have no vested interest.
Yeah, look, Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Marshall Falk, Dwight Freeney, like go down, Dallas Clark, go Reggie Wayne,
yeah,
go down the list, man. Amazing players, almost a dynasty-like run under Peyton. I don't give a fuck. They could suck them into a black hole and then shoot them into a quasar, and I'd be like, okay, who's getting a team next? Huh? Is Grand Rapids getting a team? Run game is stalled with Richardson out. Flacco is not a threat to run. Flacco shouldn't be a threat to run, David. What are you talking about?
Who's
Tor, what's going on today? What is going on today?
Flacco wasn't a threat to run in the 6th grade. Come on, let's be real.
Flacco was a threat to run after game day because he lived in Baltimore and he had to run to his car like everybody else. What the fuck is wrong with David Marksberry? I know he watches football. Flacco's not a threat to run. Yes. And how's that working out for you, by the way? God. I know you only have 1 week's worth of a litmus test, but it seems like it's working out pretty good. Fuck me. Boy. What's the score of your game? 23-17. Saints got the ball.
Oh, God. Oh.
Are you going to shit?
Maybe. I don't know if they just scored on them or not on a 4th down. I think we got a big stop. Pardon me.
David Carr, 23 of 30, by the way, buck 88, no touchdowns and a pick. You are who we thought you were, and we let him off the hook. Kirk Cousins is officially disappointing for the Atlanta Falcons. No shit, Tor. I mean, I know that was the game ball, the heroics, the storming back. That was such a wild set of circumstances when they won that game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if they just would have, if they draft Penix, okay, save all that money. Maybe they bring in, Judon had a batted ball and they picked it off. Like it looks like that guy's making plays for you, but maybe you go after and sign some of these big tackles and stuff that was available in the offseason. I hate to play fucking what if fantasy football with you, but do you think their record is any different than it is right now in the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons?
I think they are doing a great job at shooting themselves in the foot middle of the game so far this year. No offensive touchdowns so far in 2 games with the Steelers. No, they had 1, but you can't not score an offensive touchdown against the Saints. This league does not reward teams that get by with a lucky muffed punt and a pick 6 and 4 field goals. Eventually it will catch up to you. And that is the problem with this team right now. And they're just going to go right back to the mean, become a running team. Algier, 60 yards on the ground. Robinson, 28 on the ground, but he's got like 46 receiving yards. He had a big gain there. I don't know what's going on. Algier is seeming like the better back right now. There's a lot of weird identity issues going on in Atlanta. The Kyle Pitts total disappearance. Darnell Mooney being the only guy that gets targeted on deep balls. Ray-Barry McLeod just becoming the number 1 option.
You hate him.
It's just if they made more sense, I could really get behind them. They don't make sense yet, and I don't know if they will this year. Maybe they will, but they just do everything the opposite of what a regular person, even not me, mega diehard, watched every single game that I've ever that I've been able to see. But a casual fan would look at this team and say, "You're doing a lot of things backwards."
I think Kyle Pitts sucks, dude. I think low-key Kyle Pitts, because we've seen now multiple systems, multiple quarterbacks. He's got 2 targets today. Drake London has 11. Now, they're not getting the ball to Bijan as much as they should either. But is it possible that Pitts isn't creating this? I mean, I haven't deep dove into his film like I'm sure many Falcons fans have, but maybe he doesn't get the separation we think, or there's something lackadaisical about his routes, because it's a lot of personnel and a lot of looks now that have decided to, I'm going to go through my progressions and find somebody else to get the ball to. I mean, he's the one variable in all this.
The problem with him is he's not wide enough to be a box out tight end. So that leaves defenders the ability to not have to worry about getting trapped behind him and giving up a 3rd down conversion from with him catching in a box out. So you're just going to have to cover laterally. And if they try to take the top off, so be it. If he gets 1 catch taking it over the top, the pattern shows he's not going to get multiple deep ball targets unless Matt Ryan is the quarterback in this system. Other than that, he's just not really great at breaking out of deep intermediate routes, which is a shame, because every time it seems like the ball is thrown to him and hits him in the hands, he's catching it. Unless the 1 target today from Marshawn Lattimore, he's a great corner. So I'm just going to chalk that up to the game. But if he can get the ball in his gravitational pull, he reels it in. But he just does not get open enough. And I don't think the whole unicorn bit Yeah, he's a unicorn, but we also called Kristaps Porzingis the unicorn when he entered the NBA. He's not going to be the big deal. I don't think he's going to be the big guy that they really need him to be.
Well, if you're talking about people that I have problems with targets and where the distribution goes, I'm going to put in front of Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson being underutilized for the Falcons the fact that Aaron Rodgers continues to target Alan Lazard over and over again. And I know he's a security blanket, and I watched a little bit of that game. It's a fucking monsoon. I think they're down 1 right now to the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. But look, man, far be it for me to tell Aaron Rodgers what to do, but if I look on the box score and Lazard is leading that group of players in targets and opportunities and catches, the offense is not running the way that it should. I will say I saw him running around that slop a little bit and taking hits, and he appears to be what I don't have that pit in my stomach now every time I see that guy get rolled up.
Yeah, the Jets are super weird because they have a great running back, 2 great running backs actually. I'll put Braylon Allen and a guy that could really get the job done for them also.
He's
along
leading
with
them
Breece
in
Hall.
rushing right now, by the way.
I don't get why the Jets can't just get past. I mean, we saw what they did against the Patriots. It looked like a Jets team that was, for the first time in a while, the definitive better team in a matchup. And the Broncos have a really good defense, but the Jets should handily beat them in this game. Like it shouldn't be as close as it is. The Jets defense is playing out of their mind like they were doing last year. Rodgers, I think he's a weirdo. I think he just knows.
You think he's a weirdo?
Yeah, but not in the vaccine weirdo stuff, but on the field. Why, like Garrett Wilson is supposed to be like when he was coming out of college, he was getting comped to all the biggest and best receivers in the game. He was getting 2014 OBJ comps. He was getting Jarvis Landry comps when he was elite, and or not elite, but pretty good. They need to get him the ball. It can't just be Conklin and Lazard being the mainstays of this offense. It can't happen. And I don't know why people are loving to take a big dump on Bo Nix today also. The Jets have a good defense.
A great defense, and they're fucking hassling the shit out of him, and it's terrible weather, and no one likes playing in the Meadowlands. All right, we've got to talk about this. This was earlier today. What's our guy? Warren Sharp came out, and he had this tweet. This is at 2:07. Total yards, Buccaneers 255. Total yards, Philadelphia Eagles 0. I actually wrote it down, Tor. The Eagles didn't get their first down until the 8-minute mark in the second quarter. The other thing that I wrote down was this tweet that you shared with me, and that is from a guy, Big Business on X. If Nick Sirianni is an honorable man, he would set himself on fire and let the Eagles get a new coach, no matter if they win or lose this game. It's a little strong, but I understand the frustration at least. Look, the Buccaneers are a good team, and if you take them lightly, they'll do to you what they did to the Commanders, but the Commanders aren't expected to be in the NFC Championship game at 2-1. And the Eagles are, and Baker Mayfield looks like Tom Brady leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. Where do you start? Even when they win, Tor, Philadelphia doesn't look right. And just imagine if Saquon Barkley said, I'm not going to go in the division. I'm going to go someplace else. Because take his production off this team and think about the exposed can of spam that you're left with.
They're winless if Saquon Barkley isn't on this team.
You ain't lying.
They lose to Green Bay in week 1. They lose to the Saints last week, and they lost to obviously Atlanta in week 2. Actually, that was partially due to Saquon Barkley. Regardless, you take him off this team. This is a bad Eagles team. The defense, Howie Roseman adding so many star players. What are they doing for him? What are they doing for the Eagles? All these Georgia players that they drafted, I got caught up in it. They draft every instinct that I have about who they draft is the right one. I think, oh wow, they added another really special player, and they're not developing these guys into legit threats on the defensive side of things. And their offense hurts. It can't be the dude. He can't be.
The problem is that, and I see Josh is making this argument in the chat, but I don't buy it. I know AJ Brown's hurt. I know Devontae Smith-Pelly was a scratch before the game today. You paid if Dak Prescott is expected to, hey, we're not signing anybody else, you got to go out there and make it work with these motherfuckers. It's not like he is going out there unarmed. Jalen Hurts is. He's got Dallas Goedert. He's got Saquon Barkley. They brought in Dotson in the offseason. They've got guys on this team that can play football. You need to go out there and make plays. You're a playoff team. You need to be competitive against Tampa Bay. You need to give yourself a chance to beat Tampa Bay if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't care if your top 2 wide receivers are down. You think Jim Harbaugh is going to bitch about his top 2 wideouts being down? No, none of these guys are going to do that. So I'm not giving a pass to the Philadelphia Eagles because they've got some dinged up skill position players when you invested in your quarterback the way that you did.
This is a playoff game against Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is showing what would happen in December right now. They are getting rolled up. And the Tampa Bay offense, credit to them. Mike Evans is maybe one of the most underappreciated receivers in the NFL.
He's fantastic.
He's just so impressive. Godwin, how many people wrote him off this year saying, okay, he can't continue this level of production? He's still
Godwin might be a top 5 wide receiver in the league right now, and he's on the field with Mike Evans at the same time.
It's the Buccaneers, maybe them and the Lions, maybe the most rootable 4 teams in the NFL right now. I don't know if proud isn't the right word because it's Baker Mayfield. He's an NFL quarterback. I'm a nobody, nothing, but I'm proud of Baker. You have to be proud of Baker. He had so many opportunities to just crash out and bail out of this whole NFL thing, just become a permanent backup. He didn't. He stuck with it. He took it as many, whatever opportunities he got. Fine, I'll go into LA on 3 games notice and I'll win a game for them, show that I can still do it. Cool. They won't keep me because they have Stafford. Deal. I'll go somewhere else. Tampa Bay, let's see what happens. I'll start dueling with Kyle Trask, who's supposed to be the future. Nice analysis there, pundits. No, I'm gonna beat him out, and then I'm gonna start leading this team. It was a decently rocky first year, but he's climbed out of it. You got it. You just have to root for this guy who people loathed him. They loathed the progressive commercials when he was in Cleveland, and now he's just carving up the Eagles. It's fantastic. It's great to watch.
There's a lot there. And I think that when you take a look at the culture that they've built in Tampa, there was an update. Tom Brady came out and said, hey, I don't offer any apologies for the fact that I made it tense. And he had a really good line in there, which I believe Brady's quote was, quote, I thought it was stressful not having Super Bowl rings. And you're there with Gronk and you're there with Mike Evans. You don't hear any of them bitching about it. And look, it's probably going to work with Baker because Baker's different than Brady. And he has a different mentality and he needs different things to nurture him. And he's talented. I would have never invoked anything to do with Brady doing anything other than he's the best. I'm so honored to be in this position and blah, blah, blah. You know, I texted him in the off season and boy, I hope he doesn't come down from that booth or it's his job again. Yeah, I wasn't surprised. They gave him did you see him get the big acknowledgement when he was up in the booth calling this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think going after if Brady now has the big microphone with the A team, I'm just going to say, yeah, Tom Brady was a great quarterback, probably the best of all time. I am not going to give him an opportunity to, even if he's a stumbling, mumbling prick in the booth, which he's improved already since week one.
I agree. I completely agree.
Week 1 was really rough, and I gave him a hard time about it. But since then, he's I don't know, maybe he's just one of the most talented people on earth where he just picks it up pretty quickly.
The other thing about Brady also is he is arrogant enough where if Dak Prescott goes out there and throws the ball off the front of his quadricep, he's going to roast him. You know, it's not going to be cute. It's not going to be. And Romo, when Romo had all that sizzle, it wasn't for shit like that, Tor. He was fresh off the game. He knew all these players. He knew the schemes. And dummies like me are watching football. Like, I can't believe Tony Romo can read a coverage and tell you where the ball's going to go.
He just predicted that blitz perfectly. Yeah,
I was so embarrassed for football fans when that was going on. He's such a grinning idiot. Brady is like, what is Dak doing? No, I never did that. No, I would never do that. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to hear you say if you're the greatest all time in the booth. He's got a little bit of edge to him. All right, let's get rich here. Parlay Popes, $5 super chat. Take Harrison Jr., 74 and a ho plus a touchdown. Murray, 32.5. Rushing easy money. That is against the Washington Commanders, is it not? I believe
so. Yep. in Arizona.
That touchdown makes me nervous, Tor. The touchdown to Harrison Jr. makes me a little nervous.
I'm trying to think if it's the big physical receiver that plagues Washington historically, or if it's the deep ball burner, because Harrison is the big physical stallion on the field where he's going to go up and get the big contested catches and run beautiful routes, but he's not going to necessarily take the top off.
Can I answer the question for you?
Please.
Yes. The answer is
Okay.
yes. They have trouble. Traditionally, they have trouble equally with both. And big physical tight ends and thunder and lightning backfield combinations. They don't like any of that shit, or playing in fucking prime time and what have you.
Yeah, if a running back can catch, that's going to hurt them.
What is it? That's a 4:00 game, right?
Yeah.
Fucking that could be a high scoring affair. That could be the one where I like turn off the ticket and I just sit down and watch those two teams go back and forth. And then tonight is Bills Ravens. That's a barn burner. And then we get two Monday Night Football games again, don't we?
We do. I think we have
Titans Dolphins. I know no one should watch that. No one should watch that game.
Seahawks Lions.
Man. Seahawks are 3-0. Yeah, that should be fun.
This afternoon slate could be a huge stinker. Commanders Cardinals could be the best one.
They gotta figure out a way. I mean, first of all, there should only be, what is there, 9 games at 8 at 1? There should never be more than like 7 games at 1 o'clock. They need to push more games to 4. And then if you're gonna do this bit where you have multiple games in prime time, I'm fine with that. But stop. There were too many good games today while we were getting ready for this show. Like, I didn't know. I wanted to watch New Orleans and Atlanta. Like, I wanted to watch Green Bay and the Vikings. Like, there's just too much shit on TV.
Well, you don't really want to watch New Orleans at Atlanta. And New Orleans at Atlanta's won. Olave big catch over the middle. They're about to score, bleed down the clock. Cousins interception. I'm gonna. I'll probably go to the heavy bag in the gym and just run Oklahoma drills at it, and just I won't even box it. I will just throw my body at the heavy bag, and hopefully it knocks me out and they find me like Andre the Giant in front of the elevator after he got too drunk.
I think you're going to walk down the street to the liquor store again. If I had to guess, I know you're trying to put forth this, I'm Rocky and Rocky 4, and I'm out in the middle of the fucking snow and I'm running up the hill with the board. I don't know, Tor. You're fairly depressed to get that done, but
I already took my depression walk today. A preemptive one in the rain. It's like pouring rain. I said, you don't deserve to drive. So I just walked and got my 4 cheladas and 6 tall boys.
You don't deserve to drive. I haven't heard anyone punish themselves by denying them the privilege of operating a motor vehicle.
When Taysom Hill scores his 3rd touchdown of the game rushing, I'm going to draw the shade, turn the light off, and maybe turn the whole TV off and drink myself into a coma.
Oh my God. Looks like the Bengals have pulled ahead 31-24 on the Panthers in what was an unusually interesting football game. And I had this thought, Tor. I wrote this down. You tell me if I'm being too much of a stick in the mud. The Panthers gambled on 4th. I think it was the first series they had down the field in the first quarter that they kicked off to the Bengals. Chuba Hubbard was stuffed at the goal line. I'm convinced. I watched this run, and it was very close. If he just would call himself Chuba Hubbard, if he just would relent to the fact that he would make me and thousands of football fans extraordinarily happy if his name was Chuba Hubbard, not Chuba Hubbard. Also, it's spelled, let's be honest, Chuba Hubbard. The other problem I had with that call is that this is going to sound nuts, but Andy Dalton is the best player on the field for your team right now. Don't take the ball out of his hands on a big 4th down. Put the ball in his hands, find Deontay Johnson wherever he is in the end zone, and make that happen. I think that was a bad call, but kudos to the Panthers, man. They're not going to win this game. The Bengals, despite their record, are a much better team, but it wasn't a 1-week phenomenon with Andy Dalton. He's 22-33, buck 96, 2 touchdowns. Does have an interception, but still, all these weapons look unbelievably better with him, including Xavier Legette getting his first fucking touchdown in the league. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see that moving forward.
Deontay Johnson, 80 yards. Hubbard ran for 100. I mean, the Bengals, I liked what they did today with their offensive mix. Chase Brown gets in the end zone. Moss gets in the end zone on a great receiving touchdown. And then Jamar Chase gives us a big Jamar Chase play where he breaks 8 tackles and
that was unbelievable. How do you not get him on the ground? Well, he's so big and easier said than done. He's so big and tough.
Yeah, but he's like, it's not like DK Metcalf where you think people would start bouncing off of him.
Right.
Maybe he's just got that like how you described Adrian Peterson. Maybe he's just got that rebar body where people just can't tackle him, where he's just made of that hard muscle. And he just, because this has happened since he was in the league, since his rookie year. He takes a deep cross, gets tackled, gets lit up by his safety. He stays up, safety falls down, and then he puts on his afterburners and goes for 6. So he's so impressive. And I'm glad to see that he's like not really losing a step amid all the weirdness that the Cincinnati's dealt him so far.
Did you see the rumblings on X if they did not win this game that T. Higgins was going to be on the trading block? They were going to start making some more aggressive moves because 0-4, Joe Burrow or not Joe Burrow, that ain't 0-3, that ain't 0-2. 0-4, it's like you've dug yourself too big of a hole.
Yeah, you can't claw out of that. And then sure, if that's the easiest way to get T. Higgins off of your team and not have to pay him by sinking your season, do it. I thought T. Higgins was a productive member of that team, and I think that he helps the wide receiving core. But if they're desperate to get him off the team, then go 0-4, lose to the Panthers in embarrassing fashion.
All right, I've got one of these to show you, and I want to get your thoughts on.
Now it's time for the NFL on X on both types of sports.
Better keep those super chats coming in, people, or else we're not going to be able to afford big time production like that, and it's going to be on your head. Don't say that I didn't warn you rather. All right, so I saw this earlier this week, and I immediately threw up in my mouth because the Cincinnati Bengals tweeted out "Big Cat Energy," and I long for the days where NFL franchises didn't conduct themselves on social media like they're 14-year-old girls. And maybe they'll hold on to win this game, and maybe this Photoshop looks like it's fine. But this response was great. We haven't won a game since you made the bio Big Cat Energy, and now you have the nerve to post this. If I was a Bengals fan, I would want them to beat a hasty retreat away from Big Cat Energy. And also, if you're 0-3, I'm sorry, you're not the big cat. The other cat is the big cat. They won last week. You boobs.
Yeah, I understand teams wanting to stay relevant and fun, but if you have a bad team and you're embarrassing, just tweet out the score, tweet out the players in their uniforms before the game, tweet out the inactives. Don't try to tweet a banger. Don't try to get the internet on your side, because if you're losing, you can't do that. It's not going to happen. It's Notre Dame fans trying to dunk on me a week after they lost to a G5 team. I have the trump card. You lost. You're 0-3. Anything you try to say, you don't have any of the power in that conversation. So why even just try to be a little more professional? I'd appreciate it. That, and what irritates you more, those graphics or everybody in sports media TV wearing sneakers on the set?
Well, come on, brother. Now you're taking my. I did that jag on Big O and Dukes. Like I fucking had that as part of my biggest. ESPN has been doing a bit where they're like, we're not old. So, little context. I'm on JFK. I'm doing afternoons. We get this deal with, I think it's Comcast Sportsnet at the time. It turns into not Masson. What is it now? NBC Sports Washington.
Yeah,
is that what it's called now? Junkies get put on in the morning. They tell me the plan is eventually to put me on in afternoons. Of course, that was never going to happen. It wasn't a coincidence. I was the only show not syndicated to fucking Richmond and Virginia Beach either, but that's neither here nor there. I find out, because I'm just listening to the guys that work there, there's a mandate that goes down where the anchors are not allowed to wear a tie anymore because they think that the tie makes them look old and that young people won't watch NBC Sports Washington if they tune in and see Chick Hernandez or whomever the fuck, JP Finley, wearing a tie on the television. And I'm like, this is what old heads do. You don't understand young people. And when you try to mimic what they do, you just come across as desperate. Like, go out. If you don't want to wear ties, that's fine. But it just reeks of desperation. There was a year when every single asshole that hosted a show on ESPN came out there wearing a full 3-piece suit and Air Jordans. And then they would take pictures and look at us. We're wearing Air Jordans. We're like you, children. It was the Steve Buscemi meme.
How do you do, fellow kids?
No shit. And when the guys on like Good Morning Football are doing it, like I don't think it's a gimmick. Like I buy it. You can tell when it's somewhat genuine. Skip Bayless is wearing big gold chains and fucking dunks, and it's just you're like, ugh. It just gives you this fucking disgusting feeling in the pit of your stomach.
I don't think that executives understand the amount of young male sports fans that have issues with their father, and they connect, and that young male sports fans make an inherent connection between man in the suit and tie talking sports being the one that I should listen to. Yeah, and Dado. Like, this is the guy, this is where the respect is coming from. This is where we have to be able to, this is why we wear the suit and the tie, because you're supposed to respect this look. And a lot of people do. You're not seeing any of the candidates going up to any of these debates, presidential or VP, in flip-flops.
No.
They're wearing the tried and true navy suit, red tie, little flag. That's all. That's what it is, because people respond to it. People don't respond to Taft shoes with fake leather and big white soles. Can't stand it.
Did you see the new bit where all the bro dog SEC fucking fraternities are picking which presidential candidate they're going to do, and they're like instead of picking between LSU and Georgia, I'm like, get me away from this shtick. I've got to teleport myself away from this shtick as quickly as possible. Quick update, Tor. The Steelers have roared back. They are down 27-24, 2:39 left in that bad boy. I believe they have the ball as well. So hold your breath. We might be looking at some wacko. Can you imagine if Fields assuming he's still the starting quarterback. He leads them back. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. No picks in that game. I mean, that would be the cap. If he figures out a way to win this game, ship Russell Wilson off to Miami right now, right? Like I assume there's no more debate on who the starting quarterback is going to be for that team when Wilson is 100% if Fields pulls this off.
Yeah, the award that you were bringing up, not comeback player of the year, but it should be new face, new place award, where it's like a new addition. Maybe it's the free agency award or cut and picked up. I don't know, but like Aaron Jones is in that group. Justin Fields is in that group. At least through September. You have to.
Derrick Henry, he's got 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns.
You have to designate some type of respect to making these additions that are really contributing and winning games. Wins isn't a quarterback stat. I get it. People like to attribute it to the quarterback more than ever, but it does mean something when your quarterback is out there winning games. He's the franchise. He's the poster for the team. It matters to have Justin Fields that you signed on being possibly 4-0 or even 3-1. It's still good points for your organization and showing that you're fundamentally sound.
I also think even if you win 10-9 on the road against the Jets, I mean, if you're trying to build fundamental building blocks here, and we're looking at rookie quarterbacks in this league, Tor, that have shit down the side of their leg and their records show it. And that's, Bo Nix no one is going to confuse him with Matt Stafford right now. But that's another component of this, is figuring out a way to grasp and win these. Monty, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat for the most excellent production. Yes, indeed. This one is Torres, of course, going through it right now.
Now it's time for the NFL on X on both types of sports.
When you give the $4.99 super chats, it helps us develop more of that shit. Oh shit! Oh shit!
Now it's time for.
Is there an update, brother?
Younghoe Koo walks it off for the Atlanta Falcons. Fucking all the bullshit Saints. Go fuck yourselves.
Can you fucking keep it in your pants now? I mean,
no, I can't. I'm really. I can't help it. That's not great. Yeah, that's.
Well, maybe a little patience moving forward. Where hey, the game's not over yet. My team's talented. They've already won coming from behind this season.
Kirk tried to throw 3 picks on the final drive. All right, 58-yarder from Younghoe.
Hey, you knew that when you gave him the bag. You knew that was going to fucking happen.
It's wings and fries at 7 p.m. tonight. I'm making the dash.
Hey,
we're going to be a big drunk animal for Sunday Night Football.
You deserve it. You deserve it. Hire a prostitute for me. All right, I'm going to Venmo you $150. I want you to get something nice.
Meet her by the train yards. I'll pick her up.
It's fucking New Jersey, man. Go lean up against the dumpster behind a fire station. That's what you deserve after.
Or him. I don't care at this point. It does not matter. You're getting some ass.
Oh no. I feel like I need to call that roommate of yours again. I'm getting some ass.
He's doing a spot right now, and I screamed louder than I ever have.
Well,
that's not great.
That's what you do sometimes. Oh, that's big, man. That's a big win.
That's a 2-2 versus 1-3
Divisional win.
Divisional win. Letting New Orleans sit and rot after losing to an embarrassing Eagles team last week. It means a lot. This one really means a lot.
Carr had 0 touchdowns, 239, had a pick. Didn't rush for shit. Yeah, he's who we thought. It's nice to know that we all weren't just stupid and wrong about the Saints and about Carr and about that offense. Shaheed actually had a game after not showing up. I think that guy can play.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
he got a nice 1-2 punch there.
He's legit, and there were a lot of players on the New Orleans defense that were out today. I'm sure in the rematch, New Orleans is going to be more prepared, and then they'll probably split this year. If I'm being realistic, it's how the rivalry goes. You get away with one, and they get away with one. Bitter, hated rivalry, but it's a good one. I'm glad to get the first one out of the way this year for at least a possible split.
Do they have Tampa next week? I think Atlanta plays Tampa next week, don't they?
Atlanta has Tampa on Thursday Night Football. So
that is wow.
3 primetime games in 4 weeks for this team. They
can run it. If they run can you imagine how much different you're going to feel if they run the table against those 3 teams in prime time, which is something that you like that aside. Kirk Cousins is not the guy that comes to mind when you think about performances like that. You're going to feel the whole world's going to feel completely differently about them.
I think if they can really commit, if they can tell Bijan to not just keep falling forward after 7 yards, stay upright and run the rock like an NFL running back, it's not college. Because that's the difference between him and Tyler Algier. Algier is a brick shit house. He's just a massive a man, but he gains momentum because he runs upright and he runs through people. And Robinson is strong enough to truck a player. He's strong enough to do it, but he just keeps on falling down and abandoning it.
There's no excuse for 4 targets through the air for Bijan Robinson. I understand what you're saying, but he's the most dynamic player you have out there on the field, and that means a lot considering the talent, just the raw talent the Falcons have. Throw him, just say, guys, we got to throw him the ball 8 times, so let's fucking get 6 of them out of the way in the first half and see how it goes.
He had a screen pass that got called back on a holding, which happened like 20 minutes into the show, which I really wish hadn't gotten called back because it was a beautiful play. And what's your patience level with screen passes? Because I'm at my limit. I think it is the most cop-out play. I think it has a 1% chance of going over like 20 yards. And then for the most part, it goes for 4 or -6. It doesn't, it doesn't work.
I'm a little Warren Sharpish in this, where I believe that we as football fans watch a screen pass that goes for 7 yards and say that's a failure. And then we line up in the eye, you run the back in between the guard and the center, that goes for 4 yards, and that's a success. So I think that for these defenses, especially like Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys that really aren't effective against the run, they're not great tacklers, but they can get after it and they can rush and they got speed. What's better than a screen pass to fucking get them to back the shit up off you? So I don't know. Does that include wide receiver screens? Is the worm term for those?
Wide receiver screens, bubble pass. I think it's just let's get a completion. Let's get it out to the guy in space. But defenses now, they're faster than they're ever been. I think they get around the weak wide receiver blocks. I think it's just a cheap possible 3 yards with a low ROI for moving the ball down the field. I always praise teams that decide to attack vertically and not let's just start it again at the line of scrimmage and hope we can move up at some point.
Fields just threw an incomplete pass to Van Jefferson. I think that might be it. Here is a super chat from Largemouth Ass, my dude. $2. Thank you. If Fields pulls off this win, I'll lose my mind. I think most people would have. Still, I'd stick with him for the rest of the season. And $2 super chat, Largemouth Ass. Tor missed a 10 out of 10 event last night. Well, he certainly did, Largemouth. You did not. I felt bad for Largemouth Ass. I didn't know, I guess, that he's fucking blind as a bat whenever it gets dark out. So I walked up to him and he had a beer and he was dancing. And I was like, hey, cheers. And he just kind of looked at me like I was a fucking alien. and Witten cheers me. I'm like, hey, man, are you pissed or something? He goes, no, I just can't see you. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Oh, boy. Very, very funny. Thank you, Largemouth Ass, for the super chats. Got some results coming in here, Tor, but before we get to that, I did want to share this because we had a damn good episode this week, I thought, on our show. And Sean Salisbury came through and was hanging out with us. And, you know, maybe it's a little bit dated now, but not enough where I'm not going to play this for you. He is all in on Jayden Daniels. I'm sure most people are at this point, Tor, but Sal's coming in and speaking his mind means more because he played quarterback and he coaches quarterback. So,
kid, I go on every week in New Orleans, guys, real quick. That his improvement, my favorite thing about him, and I watched him when he was in the Pac-12 at Arizona State before he transferred. Got to Brian Kelly first year, pretty good. Second year off the charts, wins the Heisman and deserved it. His ability to throw the deep ball, if you go back and watch every game tape from first year at LSU to second year, you ain't going to 72. That'd be the complete outlier. Josh Allen from college to the NFL. I'm just telling you. And if you're Drew Brees, you're going to complete 70% with one eye closed and a blindfold on the other one, right? A patch on the other one. You're accurate or you're not. He's an accurate thrower. He's aggressive and he's smart and he's patient, which trying to teach a quarterback in his third start to be patient, I got news for you, is damn near impossible to do because they want to be a hero, just like when he runs. So all that being said, the guy is every friggin' year. That tells me, has Trevor Lawrence gotten better every year you've seen him?
No.
Bingo.
Work.
Regressed, whether it's the coach or anybody. This dude has gotten better every single season from the time he was at Arizona State. And that tells me that he's not taking studying for granted, and he's sure as hell not taking leadership for granted. The Washington football team's got themselves a top 5 dynamic talent in the league.
There's the grunt. Top 5 dynamic talent in the league, and he goes into the Cliff Kingsbury Bowl at 4:00. Kyler versus Fields versus Justin Daniels. Jayden Daniels. Justin Fields is interloping with everything in my brain right now. Jayden Daniels and Kyler Murray facing off. Some fireworks there, Tor. What do you think about Sal saying on the show that kid's already a top 5 dynamic talent in the league?
I think that if you watched that Monday Night Football game, you'd be hard pressed to not agree because the Bengals historically should have just rolled up Washington easily. It should have been a brutal, ugly 20-3 Monday Night Football win where they just run the rock and Washington can't complete any third down conversions. They can't move it past the 40. They miss a field goal, brutal muffed punt or something. But he kept them in it. He rallied. He distributed the ball to everybody. And he played legitimate quarterback. Not just, I'm back here passing, or I'm back here handing off, or I'm just taking instructions. He was making his read. He was taking chances. And I think that it worked. And it wouldn't work if he wasn't dynamic. So I think Sal's is definitely onto something. And, I mean, they're going to get another test from Arizona, who is not a team that is going to roll over and just let you walk all over them.
No.
It's a winnable game for Washington, especially after the momentum from last week. But they have to actually go and win this game. They can't just luck into it.
Marvin Harrison Jr. It can go nuts on any team in this league, Tor, but this is the type of player and the type of environment where he could have – this could be a 200-yard game for him, and it would not surprise me at all. All right, so we got some results coming in. Looks like David Marksbury is happy. $2 super chat. Thank you, Fields, if I may, is who we thought he was. Disagree completely. Just because they lost this game, I would continue to roll with him for he's proven it to me, barring some sort of complete 4-interception meltdown where he single-handedly costs them the game, and you think Russell Wilson can give you a spark, Tor, I'm probably playing him because he can do athletically things that Wilson can't do at this point.
Yeah, the Wilson ship is continuing to sail. Even in a loss for Pittsburgh, it seems like their guy this year has to be Fields. If he can keep on just getting a little bit better week after week, when teams really start finding their own selves in week 10, if he just keeps on compounding improvement, he's going to be capable. He's going to be a team that he's going to be a quarterback that you're not thinking you can pick on all game, or you're not waiting for a Justin Fields mistake. It's we have to force it out of him. We have to actually scheme out a mistake from him, or scheme something from what we're seeing, what he's been able to do and why he's getting so many wins. Maybe it's just they run the ball like hell and they play really good defense. But if I'm looking at that Steelers offense, I'm much more scared of Justin Fields beating me than Najee Harris.
I'm sure, especially if you need dynamic playmaking and explosive playability. Well, speaking of that, the Arizona Cardinals went right down the field and scored on the Commanders. Kyler Murray, 3 of 3, 21 yards, threw it to Marvin Harrison Jr. So verbal nod to Parlay Popes. That guy fucking, I'm going to bet money on what he says. But Connor goes in there and goes 5 carries for 31 yards as well, had a 16-yard gallop. So the Cardinals taking it to Washington early. They're 1-2. So we'll see how the Commanders respond playing from behind here.
I think, Kyler Murray's going to press him. Kyler Murray has been a good rookie quarterback in this league so far. If we get a good duel, that
rookie quarterback,
when he was a rookie, he was very electric.
Out of here. This guy needs to have a career-defining season, Tor. He needs to go out there and play like he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league because he's getting paid like one.
Yeah, I think I go back to, he's been hot so far this year. He hasn't been great or perfect, or he hasn't been perfect. But if the Commanders are going to give him opportunities to throw touchdowns to this game, obviously marching down on the first drive is a good start to that.
Certainly is. Couple of other updates. Anything going final here? I don't know if we are we're kind of in that weird zone where Aaron Rodgers passes short low to Mike. All right, so that one's still going on. Looks like the fucking Vikings game is still going on. They've got the ball. That's pretty much in hand. Still scoreless early New England with the 49ers as well. What's the over-under in that game, by the way? 28 points, all scored by San Francisco?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's I think they were favored by like 10.5. Which is fair for them. They should be favored by 10.5. I don't think New England scores a bunch of touchdowns in this game.
All right. Well, cool. This is fantastic. Hit that like button, you cowards, and spread the word. Tor and I usually go live at 3:15 in between the games every Sunday. Gigantor, congratulations to you, man. I know it's a tight one. It's been a couple of tight ones, but that is a monstrous divisional victory against an improved Saints team. I think we can at least say that. So it lines up for that's short rest, too, to go play Tampa Bay after they're going to be riding high from putting that foot to ass for Philadelphia.
If anybody would like to send me baby aspirin for the season, I will just DM me and I'll give you my address and you can send that on up and I will hopefully take care of the ticker this season. Lord knows they're going to push it to the limits.
If you do go with a male prostitute, I know it's still up in the air because you're going to celebrate tonight. We're getting all the ramen. We're getting all the high sodium foods. You're going to go walk to the liquor store, get the Chilada beers, the Clamatos, and you deserve it. But if you were going to go the male way as far as a person of the night, would they be short or long?
They would need to be long.
Hey, what do you got?
Both types of sports.
Yeah, what's it do? Go long. Real long.